And for another side of relationships, Jean Caggiano has spent a number of years as an army wife and traveled around the world. So let's hear Jean Caggiano.
The blue plates. As she walked into the kitchen, she wondered if he'd still be there. Had he fled? Or would he still be there, seething from the sting of her words? No, he'd fled, but 3 broken dishes, her favorite blue pottery dishes, lay smashed in a rubble heap on the floor. Sinking to her knees beside the bruised rubble of her prized dinner dishes, she wept uncontrollably. How dare he? How dare he break, shatter what he knew was so precious to her, the dishes she'd found in a tiny German shop in Memmelsdorf. She'd so wanted him to come home and sweep her up in his arms, but so often he'd enter the house abruptly, too exhausted even to hug his son and daughter. His only response so often had been to criticize. "What's that toy car doing in the middle of the room again, Joseph?" He'd bellow at her 3-year-old son. "I'm sorry, Dad," Joseph would almost whisper, scurrying across the room to pick up his favorite toy. Her insides would churn, and she'd feel the sharp intake of her breath as she felt Joseph shrink into himself, constrict, even as she felt her stomach tie into the all-too-familiar knots. "Just because you're tired from work, don't take it out on him," she yelled one night after Joseph had left the room. Slamming the door behind her, she escaped into the kitchen, loudly banging pots and pans and muttering to herself, "Sure, I'll make your damn dinner and wait for you to complain. It's too salty, too mushy, too spicy, too bland." Furious, she reached up to take down one of her blue pottery plates and then suddenly thought, "No way, Jose, it's paper plates for you tonight. You don't deserve to eat off my fine china. I'll reserve that pleasure for myself." She was so glad it was all behind them now. The struggle, the turmoil, the pain of those early years, and the growth. My God, how amazing that change was possible. She never would have thought it. It's safe now, she thought. We can be ourselves together. And reaching over, she smoothed his snowy white hair, much thinner now. Leaning into the warmth of his body, she kissed his cheek and then padded down the hallway into the kitchen to brew their morning coffee. Carefully, she placed the apple cake she'd made yesterday into the oven so that it would be warm when he awoke, and reaching up into the cupboard, took down 2 of her cherished blue pottery plates.